minta berdiri semua untuk menghormati state anthem Ibu Perdana Menteri. Hadirin yang berbahagia. Selamat datang hadirin hadirat. Selamat datang kepada debat Ibu Segala Debat yang dianjurkan oleh Sarawak for Sarawakian ataupun S4S untuk anda rakyat Sarawak semua. Debat ini dianjurkan untuk mengetahui polisi-polisi beberapa parti politik yang berada di tanah air kita, terutama sekali parti politik di Sarawak yang akan bertanding pada pilihan raya yang akan datang, yang akan dianjurkan dalam beberapa hari lagi. Kita akan mendengar polisi-polisi ini daripada wakil-wakil parti politik yang telah kita jemput untuk hadir bersama kita pada hari ini. Dan kita akan mendapat peluang untuk bertanya dengan mereka sendiri soalan-soalan berkenaan dengan bagaimanakah untuk menjaga masa depan Sarawak.
Good afternoon and welcome to the big debate. This has been arranged by Sarawak for Sarawakians, for you, the Rakyat, to hear the policies of some of the parties who are standing for the election in the next month or so. We will hear from the representatives themselves, and then you get a chance to question them on the theme Safeguard Sarawak. Before we start, let me give you some safety and security precautions. First of all, the toilets are located behind on your left, and also in front of the stage. By the stage, we have the gentleman's toilet on your right and the ladies' toilet on your left. In case of any emergency, please exit through the doors with the Keluar sign on both sides. Okay, videos and flash photography, flash photography are not allowed, but you can take video. However, we would be videoing the whole process and it will be made, released to the public for public viewing later. Okay, before we start, we would like to introduce the 5 people on the stage. First, Mr. Peter John Jaban, who is the organizing chair for the S4S debate. Ms. Karen Shepherd, moderator for the debate. And we have 3 speakers representing their respective parties. Mr. Barubian is the representative of PKR. Mr. Patrick Anauren representing PBDS. And we have Mr. Michael Tiang representing SUPP. We thank them for being here. We thank all of you for being here, including other party representatives who are in the audience, and a special thank you to the media. Now, I would like to ask Mr. Peter John Jaban to make a brief opening address. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremony. Good afternoon, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. I also like to thank all the media, local media and international media. We also like to welcome people who came from abroad. Some came from Singapore, some came from Hong Kong, Australia. And also I would like to welcome all the foreign observers, representatives from diplomat, representative from the United Nations, and many others here this afternoon. Welcome to the first debate of its kind in Malaysia. Now, the debate is all about Safeguard Sarawak. We want to talk about the future of our state. We love Sarawak. So we need to talk about the future of our state. When we talk about history, history is very interesting because we are becoming more informed about our history. But history is not as interesting as the future. So which and which you want to talk about? You want to talk about the past or you want to talk about the future of Sarawak? Now, there's nothing more important than the future of the state. This is why we are holding this debate. All political parties have a policy on greater autonomy now. But when we talk about 30, 20 years ago, 40 years ago, or maybe 1 year ago, 2 years ago, or maybe 30 years ago, what have they done? Everybody wants to become a YB, a minister, or sleeping YB. None of them did. They all start to talk about their own party. They start to fight among themselves for power. But we as a voter, all of you here this afternoon are voters. Am I right? Yes. So who suffered? We are the one who suffered. Are they going to talk about our rights, Sarawakian rights? Now for the past 30 years before that, none of them talk about autonomy, talk about our rights. None of the politicians or our ministers talk about the Malaysian agreement in the parliament. Over the last few decades, Sarawak has been sinking. We go down the drain, and the Malaysian agreement 1963 has been eroded and forgotten. Because why? Because they're busy fighting with one another. Now, when you look at Sarawak, the formation of Malaysia in 1963, Sarawak was one of the nation to form Malaysia. What happened now? Sarawak turns out to be one of the 13 states. Anchocho, thank you. Huh? We are partners, but unfortunately, it turns out to be we are one of the 13 states. It's okay, one of the 13 states. But now we are the poorest state in the federation. We are the biggest and we are the poorest. Years after years of low development expenditure, years after years, low oil royalties, years after years of imported civil servants to Sarawak. Why do we need them? People in Sarawak are also as educated as they are. Am I right? So why should we import them to work in Sarawak? All the heads of department, all civil service, the police, and so forth. We need people from Sarawak to work. We are also as good as them. Years after years of changes of school syllabus, still no official religion. Everybody talk about religion in Sarawak. I mean, please tell us what is the actual religion for Sarawak. This is what we want from the state government. Don't make us confused. There's also no official religion, race recognition for the Dayak. The Dayak are still called lain-lain or maybe pendatang. What's all this? They just want us to write, in the Borang. I saw in the newspaper recently, last week. They just want us to write ourselves. You just write line, slash, and then whatever you want to write. Are we supposed to do that? They teach us what to do. They teach us what to do. Remember that, yeah? Now, this is actually the right way. They are telling us the way. They will do nothing for us. What are they going to do for us? They want us to do it ourselves. So, very simple. The power is in our hands. You, and all of you. Remember that. Now, why are we here this afternoon? And why are they all talking about autonomy now? You can see all the political parties, big sign, Sarawak, safeguard Sarawak, Sarawak Kian. Am I right? Everybody talk about autonomy. We thank them. It doesn't matter which party you belongs to, but you must fight for Sarawak because all of us are anak Sarawak. Am I right? Now, more than 10,000 people came out to protest on 22nd July last year, that is 2015. Thousands and thousands of people, old men, from the kampong pun ada, from the town pun ada, and everybody. They don't care about political parties anymore. They are only talking about, I am a Sarawakian, saya anak Sarawak. So everyone go under the sun and join the parade. So this is what. Be careful. This is my warning to all political parties. Please remember, we are all Sarawakians. And thousands of people as well. They bought stickers. You can see for yourself. Cars, toilet doors, everywhere. They bought t-shirts, caps, umbrellas. that you are all wearing today. And everyone asks, who is sponsoring their events? Let me ask you, who sponsor us? Who sponsor SYS? You sponsor yourself. Today you bought a ticket and you sponsor for this hall. We have to pay for this. The state government of Sarawak never allow us to use any public space. So we have to rent. So who paid the rent? It's you. So don't ask us who sponsor. We are poor people. We are rakyat. We are poor rakyat. And we have to organize ourselves. We don't need people to sponsor us. We don't need people to tell us what to do. We know what to do now. Am I right? You know what to do. Now, let me ask you another question. Recently, we did the campaign, the signing petition campaign. More than 300 Sarawakian signed for the petition. Who signed for it? West Malaysian sign? No one do, right? You signed for it. That is 10% of Sarawak population. Now who sponsored this event? We have to collect money from each other just to buy mineral water. We don't want people to sponsor. And the money is also your money that you gave us today. You bought a ticket, we buy mineral water for you. You got mineral water or not? Ada? Yes. Next year, we will have kwachi for you in this pangong. Yeah. So who is talking about autonomy? You did. Everyone. People in the kampong, they talk about autonomy. Yeah, autonomy. Yeah, we want more autonomy. Yeah? So, it doesn't matter which party you belongs to. No matter which race, whether you're Malay, you're Dayak, you're Chinese, we must fight for Sarawak. All of us are Sarawakian. So as long as you are Sarawakian or anak Sarawak, we must fight. Sarawak for? Sarawak for? Sarawak for? Agi hidup? Agi hidup? Thank you very much. Now today, we have shown the way to our leaders. They are our leaders. But when one of the ministers says, jangan lawan tauke, who is the tauke now? We are the tauke. All the candidates who wants to be elected, they must fill the form, application form from us, rakyat. Don't just simply, I want to become a candidate. I just want to become a candidate. So we anak Sarawak have demanded, and now political parties are following us. Some of them act like as if it's their idea to protect Sarawak. But it wasn't. It was ours, the rakyat. We are the one who started to bang at their doors. Now some of the parties have accepted this challenge. Thank you very much to SUPP, PBDS, PKR. We salute them. Let's give them a big round of applause. Now, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what happened in the past, some of the parties are showing that they are serious about our future. Make sure they are serious. Today, we are going to listen to them. How are they going to protect us? How are they going to safeguard Sarawak? Now, but some are trying to make us fight among ourselves. They want us to quarrel among ourselves. Some questions, what are our motives? What are our intentions? Some even try to boycott our events. But we cannot let them boycott. This is what happened today, look. Nobody can boycott us. They want to come, they come. They don't want to come, you are kia su, the Chinese said. Because without you, ladies and gentlemen, they will go back to do nothing. You get what I mean? For the next 50 years. And Sarawak will go down the drain again. Sarawak will consume. Why we organize this event? We need to show the politicians that we will not accept candidates that don't have the guts and the knowledge to stand up and fight for Sarawak. We cannot accept politicians who just want to attend safe functions where they are not challenged. Once they get to Dewan Undangan Negeri or the parliament, then they will sit very quietly there. Some even tidur, sleeping. Some scratching their nose here and there. Don't know what people are talking about. And worse still, they say nothing. What we are doing here this afternoon, all this while, we want equality and daring Wakil Rakyat for us. Am I right? Do you want to vote for a monkey? Exactly. A monkey will rob you and you still vote for them. We don't want to vote for any monkeys who sit down in the Dewan Rakyat or the parliament. Or even uneducated. There are some uneducated candidates who wish to be elected. Some don't even know what is Malaysian agreement. Some even don't even know the constitution. Some even don't even know what's going on. But they want to be elected. Saya mau jadi YBO, elect me. How can we elect you if you don't even know what's going on around you? Now, ladies and gentlemen, as far as is made up of rakyat, an independent poll has spoken. The majority of you feel that Sarawak has been unfairly treated in Putrajaya. Sarawakian feel that Putrajaya is not treating them pretty well. Am I right, Sarawakian? Are they treating you well? Are they fair with us? Yeah. The vast majority of you wants more autonomy. We want more autonomy for Sarawak. So as we all know, the poll wants to break us down by race and religion. Of course they do. This is how we have been divided all these years. Now, if you don't understand one thing, understand this. We are not fighting for one race. We are not fighting for one religion. We are fighting for the whole state of Sarawak. We are anak Sarawak. You are anak Sarawak. Bangsa Sarawak. All of us must put or must stand up first for Sarawak. Support S4S, whether you support S4S or you don't support S4S, it doesn't matter. No problem. No problem. But all of us, anak Sarawak, must stand up and hold hands in hands, and we work together and we fight for Sarawak. We protect Sarawak, safeguard Sarawak. That is all that matters. Thank you very much. Now to proceed with this evening program, ladies and gentlemen, may I have the honor to hand over the audience to Karen Shepherd, our moderator for today.
Good afternoon, everyone. If you don't mind, I'll stand. I feel a bit more comfortable, mobile. So I'd like to welcome everyone here, especially the participants. Can we give them another round of applause? As has been said already, every political party was invited. Some have chosen to attend, some have not. Okay. My job is, as the moderator, my job is very clear. My job here is to make sure that the rules of the debate are followed. And the rules of the debate have been created to make sure that every political party gets equal representation without fear or favour. The reason it has been done this way is because the purpose of this debate is for you, the people, the rakyat, to be able to make your decision carefully and properly with the right information that you need to make that decision. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to explain the rules of the debate. I might need my notes. The theme of this debate is Safeguard Sarawak. What we are talking about today is how the political parties propose to safeguard the rights of Sarawak over the next 5 years and beyond that. As Peter has already suggested, history is very important, but history is only important in the way that it informs the present and the future. We don't really want to rehash the last 50 years of history for the next 2 hours. What we would like to do is find a way forward for the state and for you to be able to see who is going to find the best way forward for Sarawak. So, you will have an opportunity to ask questions later on. Can you please ask questions that are going to address the future rather than the past? This is how the debate will proceed. We have decided to go ahead with very little protocol to give everyone a level playing field. So all the participants will be referred to as their party representatives. So today we have the representative from PKR. Can we give him a round of applause? We have the representative from PBDS. And we have the representative from SUPP. The debate will be conducted in 2 sections. In the first section, each of the party representatives will have 10 minutes to speak on the topic of Safeguard Sarawak. As you can see, we have a traffic light system in front of us. The order of speaking will be determined by the drawing of lots. Then they will have 10 minutes to speak. At 9 minutes, the amber light will come on to warn them that they have 1 minute remaining. At 10 minutes, the red light. Then they will have 30 seconds to finish, and we will move on to the next speaker. Okay? Following the first round of speeches, we will have a short break. Then we will return with your part. This is the question and answer session. All 3 candidates will speak. All 3 candidates will answer every question. If you have a question, please understand that all 3 will have the opportunity to speak on it. So we would rather not have questions that are targeted at one party. Yeah, it needs to be answered by all three to give them all an opportunity to address the issue. Again, the order of speaking will be determined by the drawing of lots. Then the first speaker will have 3 minutes to answer the question, followed by the second, followed by the third. Then we will return to the first speaker, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, to either rebut or expand on what they've already said. Okay? As you can see, the rules have been established to give everybody equal footing. Once that is done, we will have a brief recap, and then you will be able to return to your usual Sunday. Okay? So, what I would like to do first is determine the order of speaking for the first round. I'm going to ask the party representatives to each draw an envelope. It's a bit like the Oscars. Can you all open it up and hold out the card inside? So the winner is, no, not the winner. Number 1 will be the representative from PKR. Number 2 will be the representative from PBDS. And number 3 will be the representative from SUPP. Can I collect them back, because I'll need them later. Okay, so if you'll just bear with us for a second while we move across the rostrum, and then we will start with the first section of the debate. Can we have the green light? Okay. Could I ask the representative from PKR? Okay, so we need a microphone here. For a few minutes. Do you want to hold the mic? So, as I mentioned before, he has 10 minutes to speak, to tell us what his party proposes to do over the next 5-year term and perhaps beyond. The light is green. At 9 minutes, it will go amber. At 10 minutes, it will go red. Okay? And then he will be asked to wrap up. Thank you very much. Round of applause for the representative from PKR.
Thank you, Madam Moderator, the organizing chairman, distinguished colleagues and my panel speakers, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, may I take this opportunity to thank the organizing committee for inviting me to this historical debate to present PKR or Keadilan's policies on the roadmap for Sarawak autonomy as our basic rights and status for the general Sarawakians to think about before the Sarawak next election. Now, I think there is one thing that we need to understand. The word autonomy or autonomous. And I believe this is not secession. Our stand on this matter is very clear. It is the uniqueness of Sarawak within the Federation of Malaysia. As Article 1 of the Kuching Declaration signed on the 16th of September 2012 states very clearly, equal partners. We will restore the spirit of Malaysia Agreement and the position of Sarawak and Sabah as equal partners within Malaysia by restoring autonomy to Sarawak and Sabah within the framework of the Federation Constitution. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our stand on Sarawak rights and status as per the Malaysian Agreement, the 18 points, are crystal clear, consistent and certain from the beginning and is set out in our manifestos and policy documents. Collins Dictionary defines manifesto as, I quote, a public declaration of intent, policy, aim, etc. as issued by a political party, government or movement, unquote. Our policy documents that are in the public domain and had been publicly launched are as follows. 1. The Pakatan Rakyat Manifesto 2011 for the State Sarawak election 2011. 2. Submission to the Parliamentary Select Committee for Electoral Reform 2011. 3. The Kuching Declaration dated 16 September 2012. 4th, Manifesto Rakyat 2013 for the general election 2013. And lastly, the 18-point roadmap 2015 for the coming state election. Among the issues that are consistently addressed in these documents are 1. Sarawak as autonomous state, an equal partner within the Federation of Malaysia, within the framework of the Federal Constitution as opposed to secession. 2nd, guarantee to increase petroleum royalty of Sarawak, for Sarawak and Sabah, from 5% to 20%. Thirdly, on native consumer rights, land reform, and the setting up of a land commission is provided all in 4 policy documents. Fourthly, guarantee of freedom of religion. And fifthly, the Brunization of civil service. For example, under item 1 on freedom of belief of our manifesto in 2011, we declared we guarantee freedom of religion as enshrined in the Federal Constitution without any form of hindrances, and make no discrimination in assistance and allocation to a particular belief or religion, and in the process maintain the status of Sarawak as a secular state. And item 2 in the 18-point roadmap included equitable distribution of building funds and lands for construction of places of worship for all religion. Under item 2 on good governance, we pledged, among other things, 1, to set up an independent commission of inquiry to investigate the allegation of all ill-gotten wealth of BN politicians and their cronies, to ensure the due process of law and prosecution, and to return the wealth to the people of Sarawak. To establish an ombudsman to receive complaints from the public against corruption and power abuse by government ministers and heads of department. To restore local government election for all local authorities, including the adat ruai and custom of choosing the village leaders or ketua masyarakat, in order to return power to the people at all levels. Item 1 of the 18 points roadmap, which further proposed 22nd July as a public holiday and the removal of the term landline from all state government forms. Under item 3 on land reform and native land commission, we promise, among other things, 1, all expiring leases will be unconditionally renewed for 99 years. All section 47 notification will automatically lapse after 2 years of gazettal. Land alienation will be carried out through open tenders. A native land commission shall be formed having power to investigate all NCR land claims and thereafter to survey and issue grant or leases to such lands in accordance with the adat or custom of the native of Sarawak. In item 3 in our 18-point roadmap, further promise the recognition of NCR in full, i.e. the Pemakai Menua and the Pulau Galau. Under item 4, under item 5, on federal state relation, we pledge, among other things, to maintain good federal state relation in line with the spirit of Malaysian Agreement 1963 and ensure that any marginalization, neglect and omission on the 18 points be addressed immediately. When we take over the federal government, we guarantee to increase petroleum royalty from the present 5% to 20%. And priority in employment opportunities in the state public service should be given to Sarawakians, the spirit of pronunciation. Item 4 of the 18-point roadmap also include this. Under item 6 on greener Sarawak, we declared, amongst other things, that we will ensure the observance and implementation of state and international laws and or convention on environment for the benefit of future generation of Sarawak or Sarawakian. We will stop the construction of excess and mega dams in Sarawak. Item 15, 18-point roadmap for Sarawak includes an EIA and public commission report as a prerequisite in implementing mega projects in Sarawak. Under item 7, a fair deal for all Sarawakians, we promise, among other things, the immediate registration of stateless Sarawakians and the unconditional granting of citizenship papers to all Malaysian of Sarawak origin, Item 1 of the 18-point roadmap also included this. Under item 8 on the culture and education, we said among other things, we respect the constitutional rights of all ethnic groups to learn their mother tongues and to treat all mother tongue education equally. That science and mathematics subject in secondary school must be taught in English language. On item 8 and item 14 of our 18-point roadmap included that. Ladies and gentlemen, our other policy documents, the Kuching Declaration 2012 and Manifesto Rakyat, had incorporated all these issues as well. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, our stand is very public and set down on papers and will be implemented when we are given a mandate to take the reins of the state and the federal government by the Rakyat. On top of all this, ladies and gentlemen, we have advocated and stood for our rights repeatedly in the Dewan Undang Negeri since 2011, and in public and press statement, our stand is very clear. On English as official language, on the status of English as official language, I spoke about this as far back as 2012 in the May session of the DUN, and in statement in the press each time some misguided citizens call for the enforcement of the use of Bahasa Malaysia in an official document. And eventually, I'm very glad that the Honorable Chief Minister has agreed with me on this point when he said in public only at the end of last year. On education, UEC. On this issue, our manifesto for GE13 states clearly that the federal government under Pakatan Rakyat, now Pakatan Harapan, will recognize UEC for admission for higher education. Although the Chief Minister has said state government recognizes UEC, long after we declared it, regrettably, the federal government of the British National Government is agreed with our Chief Minister. No official region for Sarawak. On the official region of the state of Sarawak, I have pointed out early in my term as an ADUN member that this very fundamental right of Sarawakian, i.e., that there is no official religion in Sarawak, a point that was fought for by our forefathers, must be maintained. Our stand on this matter is public knowledge, as it was widely reported in the press and online media. As far as I know, no other political party had seen the need to remind the government of this fact. In fact, after I brought up on 2 occasions glaring errors in government website that stated that Bahasa Malaysia is our official language and Islam is our official religion, these entries were removed from the websites. Modernization. We have also advocated for modernization of civil service. YB Ali Biju raised this issue as far back as May 2012 in the DUN. I submitted a motion on this at the last DUN sitting in December, but it was regrettably rejected by the Speaker of the DUN. Sarawak territorial integrity. One crucial right that no other party has spoken up about is the erosion of our territorial integrity brought about by the passing of the Territorial Sea Act 2012. By that act, the territorial boundary of Sarawak was reduced to 3 nautical miles by the federal government with the intention to claim ownership of the rich petroleum and gas reserves in the continental shelf within our territorial boundaries. It should be noted by everyone in this theatre that no one single Sarawakian MP spoke up for Sarawak in Parliament when this act was being debated. Sarawak, BKR, has no representative in Parliament at the time. The impact of striking our territorial border is going to be huge. We are talking about ownership of our territorial resources. Is it the last one, is it? Ladies and gentlemen, it is my submission this afternoon that it is without a doubt that PKR together with our partners had made it very, very clear that our policies are carefully articulated to maintain the autonomous right of Sarawak within the Federation and to protect our rights as agreed under the Malaysian Agreement of 1963 and the 18 points agreement upon which Malaysia was formed. I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would now like to ask the representative from PBDS to make his address. Can we welcome him to the stand?
Thank you very much, Master Lady Moderator. Thank you very much for the to the chairman of the function today for inviting me to attend and to address this debate. To be honest with you, I'm usually like that. I am not prepared for the topic under review in the debates. But the chairman has spoken at length and giving me a good insight into what is to be expected of me in today's debate, which I'm participating as one debater. And my learned friend and colleague, Mr. Barubian, who is a distinguished lawyer, my colleague in court, has shot up with a very fast and very quick and very cohesive statement of what are to be expected of PKR should they be given the reign of government by the people coming election round. For my part, I will dwell only on few topics which I feel relevant for the discussion, which is only provided 10 minutes provided for it. As too many issues, we only crowd the event and would make me the poorer because I'm not known for what I'm talking about is not known or heard by you. My topic today is still that Malaysia Agreement 1963 and the Intergovernmental Committee Report 1963, including therein the Cobalt Commission Report 1963. These three documents are the precursor to Malaysia. The three documents, but without them, Malaysia would not come to pass. But without them, Malaysia would still be an unknown entity. Now, with the three agreements, all meant well, that was to protect the interests of Sarawak and its people. Why? Because Sarawak was ceded by Charles Binderbrook, the third Raja, in 1941. After the ruleship of the Brooke regime since 1940-41 until 1941, the state of Sarawak was ceded to the British Crown and held as colony until 1963. Now, in the ceding of Sarawak to the British Crown, Charles Binderbrook wrote a very interesting, more or less, trust. It said to prepare the Sarawak people for eventual self-government. And he also wrote to the people of Sarawak that what he did in ceding Sarawak to the British Crown was not to give up on the Sarawak people, but to let the British, who were better equipped, better knowledgeable, to develop the people of Sarawak in preparing them for independence. And it is also due to, in 1961, the United Nations order for decolonization was passed, mandating all countries, including England, to give independence to the territories under its sovereignty. Now, we have had the three agreements, the documents, IGC, Cobalt Commission, and the Malaysian Agreement 1963, which led to a Malaysian Agreement Act 1963 was passed by Malaysian Parliament. all those entails protection that the Malaysia was to be made up of Malaya of 11 states therein, the state of Sabah, the state of Sarawak, and the state of Singapore. We were supposed to be equal partners, poor equal partners. We were not supposed to be 13 states under Malaya. Malaya was to be equal with Sarawak. That was the spirit and intent of the Malaysian Agreement 1963. It was never meant that Malaya would consume Sarawak as had been done the last 53 years. Now, we in PBDS, it had been the struggle before, even before it was dissolved by ROS due to internal crisis of the party in the late 80s, late 90s. But it had been our conviction that Malaysia should be as it had begun. That is, Sarawak stand equal with Malaya, equal with Sabah, and not that we are as now under Malaya. And this is the target point. We all Sarawakians should try our best endeavor to bring back the situation where we stand as equal partner to Malaya. Because that was the spirit and intent of the Malaysian Agreement, which was signed and considered by the British government. The British government said, one of the members of parliament said, if Malaysia were to be part of Malaya, or Sarawak and Sabah were to be under Malaya, that would have been out of the earlier intention behind the Malaysian Agreement. But what are we today? Petronas has taken over since 1974. And in 1976, there was a major amendment to the Federal Constitution, not to the Malaysian Agreement. The 1976 amendment was so profound that it reduced Sarawak to number 13, and of course number the poorest. This is in fact illegal. It is illegal because it is inconsistent with the spirit and intent of the Malaysian Agreement. Now, why was it able to be done, the amendment of 1976? It was because there was an emergency regulation ordinance or emergency proclamation in 1965. Dato' Kaloningkan was the chief minister. He was toppled by the governor and replaced by Tawis Lee. And then he fought his case in Sarawak High Court. Sarawak High Court said that his dismissal was unconstitutional. Then the federal government suspended the state constitution by proclaiming an order of emergency. That is the first emergency regulation, 1965. Of course, it was followed by the second emergency regulation of 1969, pursuant to the May 13 incident. I'm sorry, moderator, I'm talking more on history a bit, but we cannot go straight to the branches of the tree without going first to check the root, whether the root is secure. I'm an agriculturalist from the beginning, and I know how to plant a tree. We must get the root to be good. Now the root of the tree is now bad. Why bad? Made bad by the the power in Kuala Lumpur. Now this is what we want to correct, to bring back the rights of the people of Sarawak to be a master of their own destiny. This is what PPDS will fight for, and including maybe to bring the case to House of Lords and also to the United Nations after this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'd now like to invite our last speaker, the representative from SUPP, to make his address.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for inviting me to participate in this debate today. I told my comrade Milton Fu that if we don't come today to this event, we are not Sarawakians. What makes us a Sarawakian? A Sarawakian will always fight for the best interest for Sarawak. We all know if we don't have Sarawak, we do not have Malaysia. Without Sabah and Sarawak, there's only a nation called Malaya. Let me give you a quote. How can we understand our present or glimpse our future if we cannot understand our past? How can we know who we are if we don't even know who we were? Our future is in our past. Stephen Fry, an English actor. What is the original Malaysia? What is the original Sarawak? It all comes down to the year 1963 when the United Kingdom signed an agreement called Malaysian Agreement 1963 with Malaya, Sarawak, North Borneo, which is now Sabah, and Singapore in 1963. And this is the book. MS 63 is the Bible for safeguarding Sarawak. MS 63 is an international treaty that not even the Parliament of Malaysia can change it. This is our Bible if we want to safeguard Sarawak. I always say it takes 3 elements to successfully safeguard Sarawak. First element, the people. The people's movement. Like today, S4S, Sarawak for Sarawakians. When we call to ready for Sarawak, we saw it before. Thousands responded spontaneously because we care about our home. We educate, we promote about awareness of Sarawak autonomy and Sarawak constitutional position in Malaysia. And that's people. We come to the second element. The second element is political parties. Political parties can advance this agenda to safeguard Sarawak through legislative process. But most importantly, they can use their political influence to influence the government. And I say so particularly for ruling parties who form the government of the day. They are inside government, they are the government, they can influence the government to move towards safeguard Sarawak. Now, it leads us to the final element, the third one, which is the most important. Without this third element, we cannot move forward. That is our state government. Why I say so? According to Article 8 of MS 63, only governments which sign this agreement can come together to talk about how to compel the implementation of MS 63 through our federal constitution. This is an intergovernment affair. It's not government between government and political parties. No. It's not between government and NGO. No. It's between government and government. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very fortunate that our leader, our Chief Minister Adina Sateng, in the short span of time, 2 years, he's spearheading the agenda to safeguard Sarawak. As you know, the state government had worked out the so-called three-phase negotiation plans. Phase 1, devolution of powers. What does it mean? It means transferring the administrative matters decision power from the federal to state government. It means we can make decisions quicker in Sarawak for Sarawak. Now, are we very happy? Are we satisfied with this administrative power now in our hands? Of course not. You are right. Therefore, we need to move forward to phase 2. That will be done after state election. Phase 2 is about reconcile federal constitution fully with MS63. There is any provision in the federal constitution not in line with MS63, we have to make it right. In that phase 2, I believe the first article we need to look at in the federal constitution is Article 1 sub 2. In Article 1 sub 2, we want to make Sarawak one of the 3 in Malaysia, not one of the 13. The reason is very simple, my fellow Sarawakians. We are the 3 of the founding partners of Malaysia. It's a very good reason. Number 2, the next article we want to look at to review is that Article 46 sub 2. In 1963, Sarawak had 15% of members in the parliament before Singapore left. After Singapore left, its share of its seats were never disputed fairly among the 3 founding partners. Now, SUPP in the coming state election, in our manifesto, we propose that Sarawak be given 44 seats, 44 members in the House. There will be 20%. Sabah 33 members, there will be 15%. And Malaya 145 members, there will be 65%. So in total, Sabah and Sarawak will have 35% in the House. That is very, very important. So that we have power to stop any law that will be passed in the parliament that may harm our interests, my friends. Now after we have the devolution of powers, now we have make our federal constitution right with MS63. Now Sarawak can come to phase 3. That is the final phase. That phase, what do we do? In that phase, we're going to get back what's ours is ours. Like oil and gas, education autonomy, sea routes, and so on. And I understand recently, with the rise of sentiment of Sarawak for Sarawakians, we talk a lot about referendum. In fact, I'm quite disappointed that the other 2 learned friends did not talk about referendum. SUPP was the first political party in Malaysian history to talk about referendum. That was in 1962, when we asked the Sarawakian people to decide whether to join other nations to form Malaysia or not. I also believe that we cannot talk about safeguard Sarawak if we don't talk about referendum. Referendum. What do we know about referendum? It's a process that we ask people to decide on an issue by choosing yes or no. By doing so, my fellow Sarawakians, people need to know both sides of the story of the issue before they can press the button yes or no. And we all know that the majority population of Sarawak reside in rural areas. Just look at the state constituency seats. Majority of the constituency are rural seats. They are majority live in the longhouses, kampong, in the uru places. Now, when we want to do this referendum in next 5 years, how can we be sure that these people understand referendum? How can we be sure that these people understand the issue that we want them to press yes or no? How can we be sure that these people live far, far away, they will not be manipulated by the powers behind it? My fellow Sarawakians, we have a lot of homework to do if we want referendum. a lot. The obvious one is to upgrade our education level to all people in Sarawak. And the second obvious one is to expand our infrastructure network. And we may need to set up an organized body to educate people about referendum and about their rights. And we cannot rush into it for the next 5 years just because it's the right thing to have. And ladies and gentlemen, I wish to say that I understand many are very frustrated with current Malaysia, and some even thinking of getting out of Malaysia. If our state government work through successfully these 3 phases of negotiation, and if our federal constitution is reconciled with MS 63, I believe Malaysia, the original Malaysia, which share wealth, which share its power among the 3 founding partners, Malaya, Sarawak and Sabah, that will be the country that we love to live in. We support referendum. It's the right thing to do, but it must done in stages. We support that the federal constitution must reconcile with MS 63, not to review MS 63, but to reconcile federal constitution. And we support that the devolution of power must be given to Sarawakian to decide what is the best for Sarawakian. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much to our 3 speakers so far. This is the end of the first part. The second part will be after a short break, and this is where you all become much more important. Think on what you've just heard. Think on what you already know about the Malaysia Agreement, about the future of Sarawak. Think about what question you want to put to these 3 representatives. After the break, you will have your chance to ask the question. I've made a few notes. These are some of the phrases that have come up. Freedom of religion, secular state. 20% oil royalties. Unionization of the civil service. Public holiday. Removal of the term lain-lain. Education in mother tongue, education in English language. Education on referendum. Devolution of powers and constitutional change. Think about these topics. What kind of question would you like to put to them? So we're going to take a short 15-minute break. Before we do, we actually collected 300,000 signatures. The petition collection finished on the 31st of December. Our initial intention was to hand that over, the collection of signatures today, to the Chief Minister. However, he has decided not to come. Therefore, we feel that he is not open to receiving it at this time. So it will be given. Can I just ask someone to come up? So it will be taken to KL and delivered there.
Sorry, Karen, I have to interrupt you. Yeah. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have collected 300 signatures. 300,000, signatures. And we are supposed to hand it over to the Chief Minister of Sarawak. But very unfortunately, it looks like he's not interested to meet up with us. And then we also invited him to come over here so that all of you who have signed will witness the handover of the petition to the Chief Minister. We wanted him to come. We wrote several letters. We called his political secretary and blah, blah, blah. There's no avail, there's no response. We are actually proud if he can turn up here this afternoon so that we can hand over the petition to him. But it's okay, never mind. You as a rakyat know what kind of Chief Minister is this. We are not important to him. So, ladies and gentlemen, whatever it is, we will try our very best to forward the petition to the United Nations soon. But if the chief So we will do that soon. So before that, we would like to invite you to witness the screen where you can see for yourself the petition. Thank you very much.
These have all been meticulously verified and will be handed over to the United Nations in the next few weeks. So, 15-minute break. Get your questions ready. This is your chance to ask whatever you want to ask about the next 5-year term. Think of something, go and discuss it, come back, armed and ready. Okay? 15 minutes, time for cigarette, coffee, toilet, whichever one you need. Okay? We'll see you in 15 minutes.